Listen carefully, because this is the part nobody wants to hear. Laziness is not just lying on the couch. Laziness is not just sleeping in a little longer. Laziness is the root of every failure you've ever had in your life, and the root of every failure you're going to have if you don't kill it now. People love to blame circumstances. They love to say, I didn't have the right opportunities. I wasn't born into money. I didn't have the right connections. Let me ask you this, how many people do you know who had the same background as you, the same problems, maybe even worse, but they still managed to succeed? The difference between them and you isn't luck. It isn't fate. It isn't some magical opportunity. It's that they weren't lazy when it mattered most. Every failure starts with laziness. You don't fail because life is unfair. You fail because when life gives you an opening, you're too lazy to run through it. That job you didn't apply for, that skill you didn't learn, that workout you skipped, that business idea you never worked on. All of that comes back to laziness. And laziness will disguise itself. It will whisper excuses into your ear and tell you they're logical. I'll start next week. I don't feel like it right now. I'm too tired. I'll do it when I'm ready. You call it reasoning, but it's really laziness wearing a mask. Understand this failure doesn't come from one big mistake. It's not one single decision that ruins you. Failure comes from thousands of small acts of laziness stacking on top of each other until you've built a wall you can't climb over. It's missing one workout, then another, then another. It's telling yourself you'll study tomorrow until tomorrow never comes. It's hitting snooze again and again until 10 years of your life have disappeared. The people you admire, the ones who are rich, powerful, respected, they aren't superhuman. They aren't smarter than you. They aren't stronger than you by birth. The only difference is they understood something you keep ignoring. Laziness is poison. And once it enters your life, it spreads into everything. You're lazy in the gym, you'll be lazy in business. You're lazy in business, you'll be lazy with your family. You're lazy with your family, you'll be lazy with your entire destiny. Laziness infects everything it touches. You think you have time. That's the biggest lie laziness tells you. You think you can waste today and make it up tomorrow. But what if tomorrow doesn't come? What if the opportunity you ignored today never shows up again? What if the moment passes and you can't rewind it? Laziness convinces you that life is endless, that you can afford to waste time. But life is not endless. Every day you waste is one less day you'll ever have to become who you're supposed to be. And here's the harsh truth. Nobody cares if you waste your life. The world doesn't owe you anything. Success doesn't wait for you. Opportunities don't line up politely until you're ready. Life keeps moving with or without you. While you're sitting there being lazy, someone else is out there putting in the work. Someone else is building the body you wish you had. Someone else is stacking the money you dream about. Someone else is living the life you pretend you want because they were willing to do the work while you were lazy. Failure always comes back to laziness. Every time. It's not because you weren't capable. It's not because you weren't talented. It's because when it came time to act, you chose not to. And if you keep choosing not to act, you'll keep choosing failure without even realizing it. Let me tell you something that will change the way you look at life forever. Comfort is killing you, and pain is the only thing that will save you. Every great man, every champion, every leader you've ever admired, they were forged in pain, not comfort. You see, your body is addicted to comfort. Your brain is addicted to comfort. And that's why most people will live average, meaningless lives, because they keep choosing comfort over pain. Comfort is easy. Comfort is soft. Comfort is warm. Comfort whispers in your ear and tells you everything is fine while your potential rots away inside of you. Comfort makes you weak because it takes away your urgency to fight, to grow, to evolve. Comfort is the reason people lie to themselves about tomorrow. They say, I'll start when I feel like it. I'll begin when it's easier. I'll take action when the time is right. But that's just comfort talking, and comfort is the enemy. Now, pain is different. Pain doesn't lie to you. Pain is honest. Pain tells you exactly where you're failing, where you're weak, where you're soft. Pain is feedback. If you're in the gym and your muscles are burning, that pain is proof you're getting stronger. If you're studying and your brain feels like it's about to explode, That pain is proof you're expanding. If you're building a business and you're stressed, exhausted, overwhelmed, that pain is proof you're leveling up. Pain is the currency of growth. Without paying that price, you don't get anything worth having. Think about it. Why do soldiers come out of war stronger, sharper, more disciplined than when they went in? Because pain stripped away their weakness. Why do athletes push through brutal training? Because pain is the bridge between being average and being elite. Every man who ever achieved something extraordinary had to make a choice: to embrace pain or to settle for comfort. Comfort destroys discipline. Pain creates it. Comfort makes you fragile. Pain makes you anti-fragile. Comfort gives you excuses. Pain gives you results. And here's the thing most people don't understand. You don't have to like pain. You just have to respect it. You don't have to enjoy the suffering, but you must accept it as the path. Because every time you choose comfort, you're running from the very thing that will make you into the man you want to be. Let me give you an example. When your alarm goes off in the morning, comfort tells you to stay in bed. That's the soft option. That's the weak option. But pain is getting up when you don't feel like it. Pain is dragging yourself out of the sheets when every muscle wants to stay still. And when you do it, you've just won your first battle of the day. That little piece of pain compounds into discipline, and that discipline compounds into results. People think success feels good. It doesn't. Success feels like pain stacked on top of pain until one day you look in the mirror and realize you've become unstoppable. Comfort never gives you that. Comfort gives you temporary pleasure and long-term misery. Pain gives you temporary suffering and long-term strength. Which one sounds better to you? But here's the trap. Comfort is seductive. It's always available. It never asks for effort. Pain requires sacrifice, sweat, blood, energy. Comfort requires nothing. That's why most people will always choose it. That's why most people will never break free from mediocrity, and deep down they know it. That's why they feel empty even when they're happy. Because comfort doesn't fill your soul, pain does. Pain proves you're alive, pain proves you're moving forward, pain proves you're not like everybody else. The truth is simple. Every time you run from pain, you run from progress. Every time you embrace pain, you get closer to your potential. Comfort is the cage. Pain is the key. Comfort feels safe, but keeps you small. Pain feels dangerous, but makes you powerful. So when you're faced with the choice between comfort and pain, understand that the decision you make in those small moments is the decision that shapes your entire life. Everyone's obsessed with motivation. They sit around waiting for it, chasing it, scrolling through videos, hoping that one clip will light a fire under them. Let me break the illusion for you. Motivation is worthless. Motivation is a scam. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are unstable. One day you feel like working, the next day you don't. One day you're pumped up, the next day you're dead inside. If your life depends on motivation, you'll always be inconsistent, and inconsistency kills success. What actually matters is discipline. Discipline is the formula. Discipline is the ability to do the thing you need to do, regardless of how you feel about it. Discipline means action comes first, emotion comes later. You don't wait for motivation, you act, and the motivation follows after you've already started. That's the formula. Discipline before desire, action before feeling, consistency before comfort. Think about it. When you were a kid and didn't want to brush your teeth, your parents still made you do it. You didn't feel like going to school every day, but you went. You didn't wait until you felt motivated to eat, you ate because you had to. That's discipline in its simplest form, doing what needs to be done whether you want to or not. But somewhere along the way, society started lying to you. They told you to follow your passion, wait until you're inspired, listen to your heart, and you believed it. That's why you're stuck. That's why nothing is moving in your life, because you're waiting for a feeling that will never last long enough to build anything great. Discipline is how you override that weakness. When the alarm clock rings, you don't debate, you don't negotiate, you don't roll over, you get up. When it's time to train, you don't sit there scrolling your phone for motivation, you go and you train. When it's time to work on your goals, You don't wait until your energy feels perfect, you just start. Because once you start, the energy comes. Action creates momentum, momentum creates motivation, and motivation is just the side effect of discipline. Here's the secret nobody talks about. Discipline is freedom. People think discipline is prison, like it's some form of punishment. No. Discipline is what frees you from weakness, from regret, from failure. A man who is disciplined can rely on himself. A man who is disciplined doesn't need luck, doesn't need perfect conditions, doesn't need the stars to align. He creates results no matter what. That's real freedom. The ability to command yourself to do what's necessary, independent of your emotions. Let me give you an example. Two men decide they want to get in shape. The first man waits until he feels motivated. He watches videos, he hypes himself up, he buys new gym clothes. But after a week, the motivation fades, and so does his progress. The second man doesn't care how he feels. He sets a time, he goes to the gym, and he does the work every single day. A year later, one man has excuses, the other has results. That's the difference between motivation and discipline. Discipline is the multiplier. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how talented you are, how connected you are. Without discipline, you will fail. And with discipline, you can outwork, outlast, and outperform people who had every advantage over you. Discipline is the great equalizer. It doesn't care where you started. It only cares about what you do every single day. And here's the part that should wake you up. Discipline is a choice. Nobody can give it to you. Nobody can sell it to you. Nobody can inject it into your veins. You either decide to be disciplined or you decide to stay the same. It's not about waiting for the right time. It's not about praying for motivation. It's about making the choice right now to do what has to be done. The most dangerous lie people believe is that they have time, that they can waste today because tomorrow will be there to save them. Let me tell you something that should scare you. Time is the only resource you will never get back. You can lose money and make it again. You can lose opportunities and find new ones. But the second, the minute, the hour that just passed, it's gone forever. That's why time is the most valuable currency in existence, and most people spend it like it's worthless. Think about your day. How many hours do you waste scrolling your phone, watching TV, gossiping, sleeping in, doing absolutely nothing that moves you forward? You convince yourself it's harmless. You say, it's just an hour. It's just a few minutes. I deserve to relax. But those hours add up. Those minutes compound. And before you know it, you've thrown away months, even years of your life. And the brutal part is this: you don't feel the loss until it's too late. Time doesn't ask for permission. Time doesn't stop just because you're tired or lazy or distracted. Time is relentless. Every tick of the clock is a piece of your life slipping away. Right now, someone else is using their time to build the business you'll wish you started. Someone else is using their time to get in the shape you'll wish you had. Someone else is using their time to master the skills that will make them rich while you're still broke. Time doesn't care who you are. It rewards the disciplined and punishes the careless. Most people live like they're immortal. They waste time like they have an infinite supply, like they'll live forever. They don't. You don't. None of us do. The average man gets 70 to 80 years if he's lucky. Break that down. That's less than 30,000 days. That's under 720,000 hours. And every single second you waste is slicing that number smaller and smaller. When you understand how short life is, laziness stops being harmless. It becomes the biggest sin you can commit against yourself. Here's the question you need to ask yourself. What are you trading your time for? Because every second is an investment. If you're spending hours on distractions, you're trading pieces of your life for nothing. You're throwing away the most precious thing you have in exchange for temporary pleasure. But if you spend your time on discipline, on growth, on building, then every second becomes an asset. Every hour compounds into a future you can be proud of. And here's the part that stings. Time is always running out. You can't pause it. You can't rewind it. You can't store it for later. Every breath you take is a countdown. One less chance to act, one less chance to build, one less chance to live fully. That's why the richest man in the world and the poorest man in the world have one thing in common. They both wake up with 24 hours. The difference is how they use them. People say they don't have time. That's the biggest excuse of all. You have time, you just don't use it. You waste it on nonsense, on laziness, on distractions that give you nothing back. Stop saying you don't have time. Start admitting you're just not prioritizing what matters. Because the truth is, if it's important enough, you'll make time. And if you don't make time, then it was never important to you in the first place. The man who understands time is dangerous. He doesn't waste it because he knows every second counts. He treats his hours like gold, and because of that, he builds a life others can only dream about. The man who wastes time, he never even notices it slipping through his fingers until one day he wakes up old, weak, and full of regret, wondering where all the years went. Let me break this down in the simplest way possible. Life is divided into two categories, winners and losers. There's no in between. You're either one or the other. And don't lie to yourself. You already know which one you are. When you look in the mirror, when you look at your bank account, when you look at your body, your relationships, your results, you know if you're winning or if you're losing. Winners and losers are separated by one thing: how they use their time and energy. Losers wait, winners act. Losers complain, winners adjust. Losers talk about what they're going to do, winners show you what they've already done. And here's the brutal truth: losers are always in the majority. That's why average exists. That's why mediocrity is everywhere. Winners are rare because the price of winning is too high for most people. Losers are addicted to excuses. They say, I didn't get the chance, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the support. They point fingers at everything except themselves. Winners don't play that game. Winners know excuses don't pay bills, excuses don't build bodies, excuses don't create freedom. Winners take responsibility for everything. Even when something isn't their fault, they own it. Because when you take responsibility, you also take control. You can spot a loser instantly. He's the guy always talking about what he could have been, what he should have done, what he would do if things were different. He lives in the past or in some fantasy future, but he never dominates the present. A winner, on the other hand, is ruthless with the present moment. He's not stuck in yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's dreams. He's locked in right now, taking action. That's why winners are respected and losers are ignored. Here's another thing. Losers chase comfort, winners chase discomfort. The loser looks for the easy path. He wants shortcuts, hacks, the magic solution that doesn't exist. He wants to skip the grind. The winner understands there is no easy path. The grind is the path. The suffering is the requirement. The loser runs from pain. The winner runs toward it because he knows on the other side of pain is power. The mindset is completely different. A loser sees problems, a winner sees challenges. A loser sees failure, a winner sees lessons. A loser sees obstacles, a winner sees opportunities. It's not about luck, it's not about talent, it's about perspective. And the perspective of a loser will keep him small forever, while the perspective of a winner will keep pushing him to levels that seem impossible to everyone else. Let's talk results, because that's the only scoreboard that matters. A winner's results speak louder than his words. You see it in his body, in his bank account, in his network, in the respect he commands. A loser's results also speak. You see them in his lack of discipline, in his excuses, in his wasted time, in the fact that he has nothing to show for all the years he's been alive. Results never lie. They expose whether you're a winner or a loser. And the scary part, you can choose to be either one. Nobody's born a winner. Nobody's born a loser. You're born a blank slate, and then your decisions carve you into one or the other. Every day you make choices that push you closer to winning or drag you deeper into losing. Every skipped workout, every wasted hour, every excuse you accept, that's loser behavior stacking up. Every sacrifice you make, every hard thing you do, every moment you choose discipline over laziness, that's winner behavior stacking up. The truth is harsh, but it's liberating. If you're a loser right now, it's because of you. If you want to become a winner, it's also because of you. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's handing you the crown. Nobody's dragging you across the finish line. Winners earn it through blood, sweat, and relentless work. Losers sit on the sidelines and watch. And you've got to decide which one you're going to be. Laziness is not harmless. People act like being lazy is just taking it easy, just resting, just giving yourself a break. No, laziness is a predator. It doesn't just sit in the corner while you live your life. It hunts you. Every time you choose to be lazy, it takes a piece of you, your energy, your ambition, your opportunities, your future. Laziness is patient. It doesn't destroy you all at once. It destroys you slowly, quietly, piece by piece until one day you wake up and realize your entire life has been stolen. You either kill laziness or laziness kills you. There is no middle ground. People like to believe they can manage it, that they can be lazy sometimes and disciplined sometimes, and somehow it will balance out. It won't. Laziness spreads. Laziness grows. Laziness infects every corner of your life if you let it. You skip the gym once, it becomes a habit. You put off work one day, it becomes your personality. You waste a week, it becomes a year, then a decade, then your whole life. Laziness doesn't want a small part of you, it wants everything. And the most dangerous part about laziness is that it feels comfortable. It feels safe. It feels easy. That's why most people don't fight it. They think, I'm just tired. I deserve this rest. But the rest never ends. Laziness doesn't satisfy you. It makes you hungrier for more comfort, more excuses, more escape. Before you know it, you're trapped. You're living in a prison you built with your own hands, made out of wasted time and wasted potential. Look around at the world. You can see who killed their laziness and who let laziness kill them. The men with power, money, respect, discipline, those are the ones who went to war with laziness and won. The men who are broke, overweight, depressed, invisible, those are the ones who surrendered to laziness and lost. Laziness doesn't just ruin your day, it ruins your destiny. People say to me, but I'm not lazy all the time. That's the same as saying, I only let poison into my body sometimes. How much poison do you think you can drink before it kills you? Laziness is the same. Even a little is too much, because laziness compounds, it stacks, it multiplies, and once it builds momentum, it's almost impossible to stop. That's why you must kill it at the first sign. The second you feel it creeping in, you move. The second you hear that voice saying, not today, you do it anyway. If you give laziness an inch, it will take your entire life. This is life or death for your potential. Laziness doesn't just kill success, it kills health. You don't train, your body falls apart. Laziness kills relationships. You stop showing effort, they crumble. Laziness kills opportunities. You're too slow to act, and someone else takes what could have been yours. Laziness kills self-respect. Deep down, you know you're cheating yourself, and that guilt eats away at you until you can't even look in the mirror. The real tragedy is that most people won't even realize laziness is killing them until it's too late. They'll wake up one day at 40, 50, 60 years old, and all they'll have is regret. Regret for the time they wasted, regret for the chances they missed, regret for the man they could have been but never became. That's what laziness does. It robs you of your future and leaves you with nothing but memories of what could have been. But here's the thing, you don't have to let it win. You have the choice to fight back. You have the choice to treat laziness like the enemy it is and go to war with it every single day. You have the choice to move, to act, to push forward no matter how you feel. Because the only way to survive in this world, the only way to build the life you want, the only way to become the man you're meant to be is to kill laziness before it kills you. So here's the truth you need to face. Laziness is the enemy, and it's been living inside you, feeding on your excuses, feeding on your comfort, feeding on every wasted second of your life. And the reason I've hammered this into you from every angle is simple. If you don't wake up and fight it, it will bury you. Laziness is the root of failure. It destroys you before you even start. Comfort is the trap that makes you weak, while pain is the forge that makes you strong. Motivation is a lie, discipline is the formula. Time is slipping away, whether you use it or not. And once it's gone forever. Winners are rare because they kill laziness daily, while losers are everywhere because they surrender to it. And if you don't choose to kill your laziness, it will kill your dreams, your future, and your entire legacy. Every second you sit still, someone else is moving. Every excuse you make, someone else is working. Every moment you waste, someone else is building. And one day, you're going to meet that man, the man who chose discipline, the man who chose pain, the man who chose to fight laziness every single day. And when you look at him, when you see what he's built, when you see the life he lives, you'll realize he's living the life you could have had if you hadn't let laziness win. So the choice is simple. Either you kill laziness, or laziness kills you. Either you rise now, or you regret forever. Either you fight every single day, or you get buried alive by your own weakness. The clock is ticking, the war has already started, and the enemy is inside your head. The only question left is, what are you going to do about it?